Good evening and happy Mother's Day. You're watching the main news on HKIBC. I'm Azam Khan. Here's a look at tonight's top stories. Hong Kong celebrates Mother's Day despite the weather playing spoil sport. Thailand goes to the polls with a record voter turnout. And Sweden wins this year's Eurovision Song Contest. Many people flocked to the Mongkok flower market this morning to buy fresh flowers on Mother's Day. But cautious spending and continuous rainfall kept business expectations low. Macy Mock reports.
The flower market road in Mongkok was less crowded on this Mother's Day due to the rain. Despite the adverse weather, several fathers brought their children along to buy flowers for their wives. This boy said he has used his daily allowance to buy a bouquet of hydrangeas for his mother. While this girl bought a bouquet of pink roses to thank her mother for taking care of her. Many customers had purchased flowers in advance due to the unsettled weather, said this florist. And some have spent up to $2,500 for a bouquet. Carnations and roses have been the most popular choices on Mother's Day, she added. Restaurants were booked to capacity as many people treated their mothers with a special meal. Business at this eatery in Choi Hong is expected to reach 90% of pre-COVID level. Friends and family members got together to celebrate the special occasion. This mainland woman was happy to celebrate Mother's Day in the city with her friends and family. Chief Executive John Lee took to Facebook to wish all moms a happy Mother's Day. Secretary for the Civil Service Ingrid Yuen did the same and sent a special thanks to all mothers who work for the government. She urged the public to show appreciation for their mothers every day and not just on one special day of the year. Maisie Mock, HKIBC.
120 watches worth around $15 million were robbed from a shop in Tuen Mun. A video captured by a witness shows at least 3 people filling a big bag with watches from the shop this morning. Police say the 3 robbers, who are in their 30s to 40s, carried knives and a hammer and threatened the staff. They fled from the store in a private vehicle on Tuen Mun Road. Financial Secretary Paul Chan has defended the government's plan to press ahead with 2 mega projects simultaneously. Funding for the Northern Metropolis is allocated from the budget, while finance for the Artificial Islands projects could be derived from the market. Chloe Fung has the story.
There has been some skepticism over the government's capability of funding 2 mega infrastructure and development projects simultaneously. The Northern Metropolis near the Shenzhen border has been allocated $100 billion in this year's budget, while the price tag for the Kao Yi Chau Artificial Island project of Lantau is estimated to be $580 billion. Taking to his weekly blog, Financial Secretary Paul Chan said most of the capital needed for the Artificial Island project will be raised through the markets. Many companies and organizations have shown interest in the project, with suggestions on different forms of structured financing or through public-private partnership, he added. For updates on the Northern Metropolis, a dedicated coordinating office will be established to offer more details on the development. A consultation will be launched in the short term to formulate plans for the Santing Technopole, an innovation and tech cluster within the Northern Metropolis, Chen said. Meanwhile, Treasury Chief Christopher Hui expressed optimism over the city's economic outlook for this year. British businesses have shown keen interest to enter the Hong Kong market, he said. As nearly 25% of the 5,000 startup founders in Hong Kong were non-local residents, majority of whom were from the UK. Chloe Fong, HKIBC.
Police seized the largest haul of cocaine this year, worth nearly $200 million. 5 people were arrested on Friday after around 227 kilograms of cocaine was seized from an industrial building in Tuen Mun and a rental public housing flat in Sha Tin. In a continued crackdown on the same day, police seized another 15 kilograms of cocaine stored in containers filled with cosmetics. 2 men related to that seizure were arrested from Jordan. Continuing their crackdown on drugs, police arrested 10 men during raids on entertainment venues. A 3-day operation involving 400 officers conducted raids on 50 entertainment venues, including nightclubs, game centers, and bars across the city. Officers said suspects, aged between 16 to 33 years, were arrested for offenses including drug trafficking and possession, wounding and possession of arms or ammunition without license. 3 taxis crashed on a bridge in Tsingyi in the early hours of this morning. 6 people have to be sent to hospital for treatment, Macy Mock reports.
2 urban taxis blocked the road near Chuntsing Interchange in Tsingyi after they crashed at around 2 a.m. last night. This 5-seater red taxi was damaged after it allegedly skidded while driving on Texaco Road North and crashed to another urban taxi coming from the opposite direction. The tire and part of the bumper of the wheelchair access taxi were detached. Airbags were deployed due to the impact of the crash. The front of the New Territories green taxi was slightly dented, as its driver was unable to brake in time before it hit the 5-seater taxi. 6 people were sent to a hospital for treatment, including 4 passengers and the driver of the taxi which skidded. They sustained injuries on their neck, chest, back, arm, and leg, while the driver of wheelchair access taxi injured his arm. Maisie Mock, HKIBC.
Overseas, voting in Thailand's general election ended earlier today, with an estimated 52 million people casting their ballots. Voters in the Southeast Asian nation, which has been on and off under military rule for the last 9 years, are looking for political stability.
It was all smiles for 36-year-old Paetongtarn Shinawat, the leader of the opposition Pothai Party, as she cast her ballot in the Thai capital, Bangkok. Her father, former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawat, was ousted in a military coup in 2006. Her aunt, Thaksin's sister and former Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawat, was removed from office in 2014 on corruption charges. Now, her party is widely predicted to win a healthy plurality of seats. If that happens, she would be defeating current Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha, who also casted his vote. The 69-year-old army general, who led the last coup in 2014, following months of turmoil, is seeking another term, but is facing stiff competition from 2 anti-military parties. Around 52 million Thais cast their ballots to elect 500 members of the lower house of parliament, selecting from nearly 70 contesting parties. But who heads the next government won't be decided by today's voting alone. The Prime Minister will be selected in July in a joint session of the House and the 250-seat Senate. The winner must secure at least 376 votes, and no party is likely to do that on its own. Thailand last held an election in 2019, but the results showed no clear party had won a majority, leading to a pro-military party forming the government with Prayut at the helm.
Israel and Palestinian militant group Islamic Jihad have ceased hostilities for now, after 5 days of Israeli airstrikes killed 33 Palestinians. An Egyptian brokered ceasefire has brought temporary relief to the Gaza Strip.
Crowds of Palestinians celebrated, waving flags, and streets that were desolate in recent days due to relentless airstrikes were now teeming with people, as an Egyptian brokered ceasefire took effect last night. deafening whooshes of outgoing rockets and booms of Israeli airstrikes was replaced by the honking of cars in Gaza. However, rocket fire and airstrikes were exchanged for the last time, stretching several minutes past the deadline. 5 days of relentless bombardment by the Israeli military, with the Islamic Jihad group responding with makeshift rocket launches, had brought Gaza to a standstill. Foreign aid workers were cleared out from the Gaza Strip by Israel amid the escalating violence. The violence left at least 33 Palestinians dead and hundreds others injured. There were 2 casualties on the Israeli side. The truce brings temporary peace and relief for more than 2 million people living in the Gaza Strip, but does not address underlying issues that have fueled tensions and violence from both sides this year. A potential flashpoint could trigger clashes next week when Israel holds a contentious march through a main Palestinian thoroughfare in Jerusalem's Old City.
On to the weather now. Mostly cloudy with a few light showers at first, followed by bright periods during the day. Temperatures will range between 22 and 26 degrees. Now let's take a look at the weather around the world. That's our main news for Sunday night. Join us for more news at 11. I'm Azam Khan. Thanks for watching and happy Mother's Day. Good night.